Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and listen. This is a podcast and YouTube, and it comes across all the social media platforms as well. Our aim is to ensure that we get our leaders in our communities and those doing amazing work across various sectors to bring to you and I the things that are happening within their organizations and also within the wider context, and to understand all the things that are happening. And also, not just that, but we get to know them, we get to know what they do, how they get on with things, and also get to inspire you and I. And so, if you're listening to us and you're a young person, you just keep hanging on because you're going to be inspired to be the greatest you could ever be. Maybe you might be the one and to be the next Mark Major. So here we are, Mark. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me. This is Live Your Best Life Fountain, and I'm so excited that you've taken on this and to really have this conversation.
Thanks, really happy to be speaking to you today.
Oh, that's beautiful, that's beautiful. And so, Mark, I guess what we would start with is by getting to know who Mark is. We want to know you, Mark. Who is Mark? Because you've been doing such an amazing thing, but we want to know you, we want to know a bit about your organization and everything.
Well, I suppose the place to start, which is perhaps quite reassuring being the CEO of Northamptonshire Carers, is I've been a carer myself during my life. So I was a young carer for my dad for a number of years, and then helped to look after my mum as well. So I always think that one of the good things is I kind of understand what it means to be a carer and what carers go through.
Wow. And can I also say that Mark just put me right, corrected me right there. I must say that Mark Major is the CEO of Northamptonshire Carers. And Northamptonshire Carers have been doing such a marvelous, great work. In fact, before this conversation, I'm head of Northamptonshire Carers. I know the amazing work they're doing. I know most of their staff and their relentlessness and the zeal, the passion. It's across the wider sector. It's across the organization. And I guess what is inspiration? What actually, because it's like whatever you do is embedded in your members, and everybody is so open, so free, so engaged, and trying to really sell the services in a positive way. So what's the inspiration?
Well, I think the inspiration is carers themselves, because they do an incredible job on a daily basis looking after people within their families who have got illnesses or disabilities. And so we take a lot of inspiration from them.
Right.
I think we've also got a little bit of a magic ingredient. So we've just had the results of our staff survey back, and over 70% of us have been carers themselves at some point in their life. So you said a really, really interesting thing there about passion. And really, we see that all the time in the voluntary sector, don't we? It's a sector that's driven by its passion to do the right things and to change things and to find solutions for people.
Wow, that's so amazing, because you just alluded to the fact that over 70% have lived experience, and so they do it with a sense of purpose, and they know why they committed to the service and what they do. I mean, that's extraordinary, and having people with lived experience means that the way they approach people and care for others is much more authentic.
Absolutely. Well, you kind of get it if you've walked in someone else's shoes. Everybody's experience is different, isn't it? And every carer's experience is different. But also, if you've got that empathy of what that actually feels like on a day-to-day basis, I feel you're going to be better, aren't you, at trying to find solutions for people. And it's interesting, because we were talking before we started, weren't we, about finding the solutions, and I think that's another great part of what the sector does. We don't sit on our hands, we see the need that's out there, and then we try and match our services and our support to those needs, don't we?
Yes, and I haven't known you, Mark, for some time now. You are more of a solution-driven person, and it comes across very clearly in conversations and in meetings and in different areas. I've seen you operate, and which is really inspiring for me personally, and I believe for many people as well.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it's that thing, isn't it? And it's interesting that it's the live your best life, and it's that kind of strategic set of things for the county. And we're in a world where we're looking to work in a more integrated way as a system, so the statutory and the voluntary sectors together. And what I've come to realise in doing this job for many years is we've all got the answers to parts of the problems, and if we put that together, we've got much more chance of doing the right things for the people in Northamptonshire. So there's a lot of work going on at the moment about where we work together and how we deliver on some of those big things in the county.
Amazing how we deliver on some of those big things in the county. So I'll pick up on that, and so I know Northamptonshire Carers, you've got so many things going. So I mean, in brief, if you could tell us what areas is Northamptonshire Carers right now operating in, and what are the call outs, and what are some of the things that some of our listeners right now should know about?
Well, we were so proud because we were the winner of last year's Health Service Journal Award for systems support for carers. And why we were so proud is that really covered the multitude of all the things that we do, and things that we do in partnership with other organisations as well. So I think Northamptonshire's got a set of things to be proud of around carer support, but it doesn't mean that there's not still a lot more to do. I think the areas that we see as particular areas of need, well, carers have been affected by the prolonged period we're in, which was the COVID, the recovery from that as a system, the unlocking into more demand for services, and then the cost of living crisis. So unfortunately, more and more of our work has become around people with high needs and in crisis, and our carers support line and carers assessment teams do a wonderful job because they're dealing with more people and with higher levels of need. And we do this delegated statutory duty around carers assessments for both of our local authorities and for the Children's Trust as well. So we work really closely with them, and they've been excellent support and funders over the years. And then we also do a lot of work in the health settings as well. We don't just provide services for carers, we also provide support for people that they look after. So we've got regulated care services, and then we also provide work within the hospital settings around helping discharge. And then a particular area that's come out, and there's really quite a damning report come out from a cross-parliamentary inquiry into young carers, and young carers is a huge theme for us as well. Wow, talking about damning report. Would you like to kind of, elaborate on that? Yeah, well, I mean, some of it's not surprising. It tells us that young carers aren't being identified early enough in their journeys, that their life opportunities are affected by the fact that they're trying to juggle caring for someone in their family, usually a parent with a long-term illness or disability or mental health problem, and that really they do fantastically well because they juggle all those things as all carers do, but sometimes juggling that set of things comes at a cost to themselves, so they might miss out on bigger life opportunities or the chance to do social things, or surprisingly to some people, because young carers are so good at what they do, although some struggle with school because of the demands on the home caring situations, a lot of them excel at school, but by the time they've excelled at school and looked after the person they're looking after, that doesn't leave a lot of time for other things. So some of the report is concentrating on those areas really.
Right. I mean, so say if a young carer is listening to us right now, and they're thinking, what can I do? I'm struggling, I'm going through so much, and I love caring for my parents or for my sibling or whoever that individual might be, maybe a family or relative. And for them, it's not, they don't see it as any kind of additional burden, but I said just moral thing to do. And even though they're juggling between life and that, and they're thinking, I'm a bit exhausted now. I wish somebody could help me, or what could they do?
Well, the good news is there's help there for you, and there's help to enable you to carry on in that caring role. So pick up the phone or text or get somebody that you trust to get in touch with us, and then we'll try and do some things to help you. I'd also say well done for doing what you do, because it's a remarkable job that the carers across the county do. I'd also say you're not the only person. It can feel like you're the only person in that situation, but what you'll find is there's lots of people in that situation. We've had incredible situations where young carers found out that there were other people in their class and in their year group at school that were doing the same as them, and they never knew. Wow. So sometimes connecting people up is a great thing, and we do loads of activities and groups and things like that. So it's a really good set of things that are here for you.
Wow. So Northamptonshire Carers have got a provision to really help young carers and those who are in that desperate place and they don't even know what to do. They can just call Northamptonshire Carers and they will get their support.
Absolutely, and we're really proud because we're actually the second oldest young carer service in the whole of the country. So we've been going for the best part of 30 years. So that's
amazing, and this is county-wide, really. It doesn't mean you're just covering north. You're covering both north and west.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter where you are. We can help you.
That's amazing. Listen, if you are listening to me right now, and you are in that place, pick up the phone, call Northamptonshire Carers. All right. Maybe they might be thinking of the number. I don't know the number offhand at this point, but I think we will get it to them.
Yeah, we'll put that out with all of this.
That's
we'll
it.
Put all the contact details.
That's right.
Out. And like I said, I think if you're a young carer, sometimes it's kind of hard to make that first contact. But there's lots of ways that you can do that, or you can get somebody that you trust to get in contact with us.
Beautiful.
Parents or whatever.
That's amazing. Honestly, this is really good because, like you said, I know there is one thing in common, Mark, between the two of us, because I care for my dad too. So when you said that, I thought I would pause for a bit and then I'll chip it in. So I understand what it feels like to really care for someone that you love, and to know that there is provision, to know that there is help, and that you're not alone in doing that is such a brilliant and such an amazing thing to have, really. And it's county-wide as well, irrespective of where you live. I mean, this is great. I guess what I'm gonna follow up on in light of what we know about what you do as a system is what are the current trending services you've got running.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting thing that you've just said there. You're saying about you being a carer and whatever. So I suppose the place that I'd start is, and I'm going to give you some mind-boggling kind of statistics now. So really, approximately 1 in 10 of the population is a carer, and they look after at least another tenth of the population, because some people are caring for more than one person. Might be caring for elderly parents or an elderly parent and a child, for example. So the actual demographics are huge around carers. Carers UK, who are one of the national carers charities, they do a great big piece of research each year, and what that looks at is it looks at what would be the cost to the country and to local systems of replacing the care and support that carers give. And the figure that they come up with, and you're not going to believe this, it's £152 billion. So that would be the cost to the state of providing what carers do. So interestingly, that's thereabouts the cost of a second NHS. So there's something about there's something about understanding that key demographic issue. We also know in Northamptonshire that we've got certain demographics and trends that are playing out, and whilst they're kind of issues all over the country, they're a bit more pronounced sometimes in Northamptonshire. So we know in Northamptonshire we've got higher numbers of people in the population that are over 65 and 75, and so we know that the number of people over 75 is going to increase by about 27% over the next few years. Now, when you throw that into the world of caring, that means a number of things. It means people are living longer, but sometimes they're living longer with a set of health problems and challenges. And so for carers, that means more people caring for more people for more years. So there's something about trying to make sure that the services can keep pace with that increased demand. So that's very definitely a kind of like a trending thing. I always remember as well that when I first started, which I'll say quickly because it sounds a long time, but sort of 27 years ago, somebody said to me that becoming a carer is like being put in the middle of a great big maze and you've got no idea which way to go. And so I think that's something that we can help with. We can try and let you know what support there is out there. We can talk to other people on your behalf. We can link you into a set of things. And I think one of the most incredible things that I see, and so it is kind of a trend because we're doing more of it, but it's absolutely core, and that's the magic that happens when you can bring people together who are in a similar situation, and the peer support happens and they find out things from other people and they have a chance to offload to other people who understand that situation. So that whole social inclusion, bringing people together, giving people a bit of a life outside of the caring role is absolutely huge.
Wow, that is a lot to unpack. but that is also great because I know there are other organizations also listening to us right now and statutory bodies as well listening to this, and so it's really, really great to put things in perspective. And having spoken about all these things, I'm wondering how much time does the chief executive have for himself to really have some time on his own to really have space and have some little fun?
Yeah, you kind of get a little bit better at that as you go along. But I do just love what I do. So it do you know what I mean? So I think that's an important thing, isn't it? Because you tend to put a lot more in, don't you? If you really believe in something and you really enjoy it. But yeah, it's an interesting thing, isn't it? It's whether you're a chief exec or whoever you are, having that kind of time out is really important. So I really enjoy sort of watching and listening to sport. sometimes that can cause you more stress than other things. And then just other like family things, love history, all of those type of things. So, and actually, interestingly, I'm a big podcast listener as well. So it's interesting we're doing the podcast as part of today as well.
That's right. I mean, this is amazing. I'm so excited. Like you still have time on your hands to really do other things because there is so much that Northamptonshire Carers have been doing, and you've actually alluded to that very clearly without any ambiguity at all. And for me, I think it kind of brings the whole picture into understanding the provision and the support that is there for a lot of carers that are out there, and they are wondering what kind of support is there for them and where would they access those support. And I think it's been very clear that either they themselves could pick up the phone, or a parent, or a brother, or older brother, or anyone at all who is maybe caring for them can just pick up the phone and then call in. And one thing you said, which for me was so like captivating was the fact that even when they call, you have other ways of helping them. So it's not necessarily the fact that if they call and you could not provide that service, there are still other ways that you could signpost and refer people.
Yeah, because sometimes we try and work from the concept of there being no wrong question to ask, and if we don't know the answer or can provide the answer, we can try and get you in touch with somebody who can. So I think that's a really key part of what we do as well. And I think that there's something as well that we try and do, which is around that kind of providing that break from the caring role as well. So we've got like a regulated care service that can do carers breaks. We can link you into different opportunities around respite and having a holiday. We also have our kind of community companion service, which is I suppose like a bit of a situation where a volunteer would come in and sit with the person that you usually look after to give you a bit of a break from things as well. So it's there's a lot of things like that. And then the other, I suppose, really interesting and really successful part of work that we've been doing is community asset group approaches. And this is thanks to some really good support and funding from the ICB and through the Ageing Well programmes. And this is where we do condition-specific groups for the person with the condition and the carer. And really they're a mixture of long-term health condition, support and management, social inclusion and health and wellbeing type arrangements. So there'd be some clinical input, there'd be some health and wellbeing things, but then there'd be a big social inclusion and activity part of that as well. And those groups are going really, really well. And they're getting some pretty astounding findings from them. So, for instance, with our pumped up group, which is for coronary heart disease and heart failure, the groups of people that have been attending those, before attending the groups, they were having multiple admissions or presentations to acute or primary care. When now being on this programme, that they're having next to none of those. So there's something about good old voluntary sector and statutory sector partnerships, and working further upstream in a more preventative way can actually help to get better outcomes for people, but can also ease the strain on some of those frontline services that we know are under pressure.
Amazing. I mean, this is so interesting because you've just illustrated how the voluntary sector and statutory bodies can work together to alleviate some of these long-term health conditions in some ways, and it's working, and the evidence is so clear from what you just told me. I mean, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's been a really great area of work, and we also do similar groups for dementia, dementia hubs, for diabetes and for COPD, lung function, and those type of things. And then we've just started other things around sickle cell, and the first batch of that went really, really well. And then we're looking at fibromyalgia as well. And then you and I were talking before we started as well. We've also got some additional funding again from health, which is looking at Black and Asian carers, looking at people who are kind of gone through bereavement and are in a former caring role, for young carers, young adult carers, and then for parent carers as well. So it's really good. We're looking to grow those things out even more over the next period. So again, if anybody is listening that is in any of those situations and wants information, then just pick up the phone and we'll.
Great.
Yeah.
I mean, this is inclusivity at its best. and it's so amazing, the work so you're doing, and I believe that the vision and the idea is to ensure that all these things are assimilated and working in unison and achieving outcomes. I mean, it's a testament to your insight and your foresight. That is great. This humbling.
Yeah, I mean, it's any CEO is only as good as their staff, and so we're really lucky. We've got a fantastic workforce, so they sometimes make me look a bit better.
I like that. When the chief exec always, is so humble and you wouldn't want to just. I mean, Mark, you're a legend. In my view, you're a legend. That's who you are. But let's come back to this area of work, and I know you've touched on a lot of areas. And the current trend and what is happening currently as well around sickle cell and diabetes and all the others. Suppose a family living in Northampton want to get in touch. Does that mean that some of the hubs, and you talk about that specific tailored need as well to long-term illness and all that stuff? Will they have to travel, or how does it work? How does the whole system work?
Yeah, well, we've got the groups that I was talking about, and then we've also got a big volume of carer support groups as well. But they happen in all the different localities. So there really should be something that's near to where you live.
Right. So there is always going to be something near.
Yeah.
And if there is nothing near, what's going to happen?
Well, that's an important part. We were talking as well before we started about listening to what people want. So if people want it and there's nothing near to where they are, then that's a big part of them trying to do that, isn't it? For people as well. So yeah.
Amazing. This is great. I guess what I'm gonna ask is, a young gentleman is watching and listening is just kind of a carer. And at the same time, just kind of mesmerized and just encouraged by hearing you and knowing that you were once a carer, but now you are leading with vision and passion and with a very dedicated staff and to really make a difference, in the wider county. And they said, I wanna aspire to be someone who could do a bit more closer to what Mark Major has done. What would be your word to that young girl, young boy listening to us right now?
Well, I think the first thing is if you're thinking that, you're already on the right track because you can do it. So believe in yourself is the first thing. The second thing is there's really good ways to kind of go on the steps on different journeys, isn't there? So volunteering is an absolutely great way to get involved in things. You're doing something good for other people. You feel good about yourself doing that set of things as well. So there's opportunities to get involved in that as well. There's also lots of opportunities in the voluntary sector and the wider health and social care landscape. So maybe if you're thinking about that as a career, do a bit of looking, seeing what there is and seeing what you need to get there. Same as I say to my kids, work hard at school. If you've got those opportunities, but even because sometimes everybody's different, and sometimes school doesn't get the best out of some people, and they don't get the best out of school. But that doesn't stop you still finding ways into doing things, and like volunteering and that sort of thing's a really good route to kind of get that experience, be around things, and to be making a difference. And of course, all employers love people who have done something within the community and whatever, because it shows a really great set of qualities.
Amazing. So the young man says, I want to come and volunteer for Northamptonshire Carers. Is there a space for them to come in and volunteer?
Absolutely, yeah. Volunteers are so important to what we do. We just wouldn't be able to do what we do without our volunteers as well. So yeah, that's a really important part of things, as it is for all voluntary sector organisations. Where we rely heavily, don't we, on people doing things for us.
Amazing. That is great. In fact, I think this is just the beginning. We've just scratched the surface, and we would be coming to have more of these conversations, I believe so. And also, we could tell our listeners if they have any question, and some of the things that have inspired them through some of the comments you've made and some of the descriptions you've given. just drop us a message on our podcast or on our YouTube, and the next engagement with the Chief Executive, Mark Major, we will definitely put that to you. Mark, I'm so honored to be here with you today, and thank you so much for spending this time with me and helping most people live their best life, and for that we are very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. It's some great work you're doing, so yeah, thanks very much.
Thank you. All right.